Good morning from Pop Century.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Kayla.
And I'm Mark Allen.
And this is Hemphilly Ever After, and here we talk about all things Disney, and today we're going to give you a little bit of a tour of Disney's Pop Century Resort. All right, we are in the lobby, so they call this Classic Hall.
Yep.
This is where the check-in desks are. This is where everything pop dining and shopping is, which we honestly really like this gift shop a lot. It's a fun layout.
Yeah.
The food's actually pretty decent too. I wouldn't say it's like the best, but it's definitely decent. You do have to mobile order currently.
Yeah.
You cannot just they won't let you in to just order food, so you do have to mobile order. But they do have QR codes so that you can pull up the app pretty easily.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna show you around just a little bit. So this is the 50 section. This is where we stayed when we were here last time.
Yeah.
And we really liked this section a lot. So this one is probably the biggest section as it has 3 buildings instead of 2.
Yeah.
And then this one also has the bowling pin pool.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun because it's shaped like a bowling pin.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, they just have the fun vinyls and
radios and
bowling and all the fun.
And also right behind
things.
the bowling pin, they have like a little jukebox.
Yeah, and then
thing.
They also have Lady and the Tramp on either side, in these huge statues and stuff. So I really like those.
I do really enjoy this section. I think this might be my favorite section in the resort. Besides, actually, I really do like the 90s though too. So it's kind of a toss-up for me. All right, so we made it to the 90s section, and this is actually the section where we're staying. And if you're a 90s child like us, this kind of makes you feel real old.
A little bit. This is definitely a fun section. I will say this is the farthest section from the lobby, so it is definitely a hike.
Yep.
Which is fine for us on this trip because we're not doing a lot of back and forth to our room.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a hike. But we've got all kinds of fun. They have a giant old school laptop, which is hilarious.
And there's signs up here that say whatever, surf the net. There's CDs all over the place, and they have the pool in this section is called the computer pool, which we'll try to show you some of that. So this back here is the 80s section, and they have that giant Rubik's Cube.
So there's actually 2 buildings in the 80s section. There's one on this side, and then there'll be one on the other side.
Yeah.
But I do love, too, that all the stairwells have some fun things like that one has the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That, I think, might be my favorite one.
I agree. I love the Rubik's Cube, especially at night. They light up all the different colors, and it's kind of cool and pretty.
Oh, yeah. I will say this resort's really pretty at night. The way they do some of the lighting features are kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's keep going.
Okay.
So this is the 80s section.
Yeah.
So over that way is the 90s, and then it's basically surrounded by the two 80s buildings.
Yep.
So these ones are fun. I love that they have the Pac-Man.
Yeah.
They have Pac-Man all over the building. Well, yeah, they have Pac-Man, and then they have the little ghosts, and then they have all the the little yellow dots that he eats. It's super cute.
Yeah, and then they've got the giant Walkman and Roger Rabbit behind us over there, and yeah.
And then
although we weren't
have the big computer pool right in between.
Yeah, we weren't born in the 80s, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of like. I didn't have a Walkman ever as a kid.
We were a 93 baby. And
yeah, so we were like borderline.
We're close.
Yeah. Yep. All right, ready to keep going?
Yes, I think next is the 70s. I think because it just goes in order. So.
Yep. Okay.
Meet you in the 70s.
Very sweaty. All right, so now we are in the 70s section.
Groovy.
Groovy?
That's 70s, right? I don't know.
Sure. So in this section, pretty much the buildings are all the same, just like you saw earlier. But in the 70s, all the buildings are decorated with like mood rings and...
Which Mark Allen didn't know that they were mood rings until I told him last night. I was like, oh, they have mood rings on the building. Have fun.
And then this section also has a giant foosball thing, which we'll show you.
You don't play it. It's just kind of like these big statues, but it's really fun. That's one thing I love about this resort is that they have all the huge, like, over-the-top statues and theming that make it really fun to take photos.
Yeah.
They just make for some fun memories.
Yep. And then they also have a giant Mickey phone and a giant big wheel.
And my favorite is this Twister.
Yeah.
You can come and play Twister right here.
Yep.
It's so fun.
Yep.
And then they don't have a pool in this section. So this resort has 3 pools. They have the main pool, which we'll show you.
Yep.
The computer pool, which was back by our room. And then the bowling pin pool that is by the 50s section, which we will show you that as well. So it's kind of like they have them on the farthest ends of the resort. And then they have one right there in the middle, outside the lobby.
Yep.
So let's keep going down our travel through the decades. Okay, another thing that I really love about this section is the big tyke. I think it's so funny. It's so huge. It's ginormous. You can't actually like climb or sit on it. I wish you could, but it's definitely a fun one to take pictures in front of. So I'm going to tell you guys where you should stay when you're here, because this is our second time staying here, and this is what we've learned so far. So this is like the lobby, so this is where your food and dining, and then the bus stops are like right here. So where we are is we are all the way here. That's where our room is. So it's like the farthest that you could be. Now, where we stayed last time was actually like right in here, I believe.
Yeah.
This was bomb because literally you just go boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, and you're right there. So it's super fast. I would definitely say try and stay in this building or even in the 60s area because you're going to be the closest to everything. But it is definitely still fun to walk around the whole resort and see everything. All right, we made it to the 60s section.
Yep.
So behind us is one of the 60s buildings. This one, I believe, has two, is it still 2 buildings? Yeah, so it's 2 buildings that kind of make a V. And then in between them is the Hippy Dippy pool, which is the main pool. So that's the biggest one.
Yep.
Has a little bit more like water features. So That one's probably going to be a little bit busier. It's not right now because this resort's not super slammed.
Yeah.
But then they also have the pool bar, which is Pedals Pool Bar is also at the front. So another really fun thing about this resort, and honestly a lot of like the value and moderate resorts, is that since a lot of the rooms are external, they have these really awesome big windows, and what a lot of people like to do is actually decorate them for whatever it is that they're here celebrating. So we're here for Halloween, so a lot of people are decorating their windows with fun Halloween decals, which we did ours too, so we'll make sure that we show you ours. But if you're like celebrating a birthday, sometimes it's fun to put kind of whatever fun decorations that you like. Just make sure that they're not permanent. Pretty much wraps it up for our Pop Century tour. So the last thing we wanted to show you guys is, of course, the Disney Skyliner.
Yep.
This is one of the resorts that is on the Skyliner line, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
So that comes really in handy if you're going to Epcot or Hollywood Studios or some of the other resorts. That's actually a really nice way to get there, because those are not always the easiest to get to.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this tour of Pop Century Resort. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And of course, subscribe for more Disney content. We do a lot of Disney vacation travel planning, as well as some fun vlogs of our trips.
Yeah.
So.
And let us know, have you guys stayed at Pop Century before? Be sure to let us know down in the comments below. Or if you have any questions about this resort. This is honestly one of our favorite resorts, and we would love to answer any questions that could be helpful.
All right, well, that's all we have for you guys today.
Now go create your Ever After. So, we are now officially in the 80s section of...
I look like a Oompa Loompa.
What?
Look how orange my face is.
Good night. Tell me when.
Yeah.
Left hand green.
Now what? You have to spin it again.
Left hand green.
Oh, okay. One more time. One more time. Oh my gosh.
I think this thing must be a little...
There we go.
Okay. Left, what was it?
Left hand green.
Left hand green. Right foot.
Did it say blue? Oh yeah, I did say blue. Okay. And that's how you play Twister, everybody.